What's up, everybody? Let me know if you can hear my voice and see my screen, please. Greg says yes. All right, everybody's saying yes. Yes, we can. All right, good turnout today. I know it's the middle of the afternoon. I appreciate everybody showing up. It's a little hard to coordinate different time zones sometimes, so we had to do the best we could. And I don't know, I'm excited. I think we've got some cool stuff we're going to show you today. We'll give it just another minute or two for everybody else to get on because SEOs are perennially late. So it is what it is. If you have any questions, like just you want to BS about anything beforehand, let me know. And then once we get started, I'll throw it over to our guest and we'll go from there. Scott says, hey, Chris, it's Scott in Orlando. What's up, Scott? Got Sergey here. Sergey, who's like a stone's throw away from me. Not literally. My arm's not that good. Scott says he's looking forward to it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Stavros says, hey, everybody. Why are the questions in a weird order? There we go. Got Chris from the UK. Lots of people on today. I'm excited. Google Maps automation, do you mean auto posting? Well, we'll get into all that. My name is Carlos. My company is Art of Headshots with 7 studios specializing in headshots. And there's a URL. We used to lead in the SEO. I'm almost dead in my business because we rely so much in SEO. Not sure what the question there is. Gerald from Columbia, Maryland. Happy holidays. All right, we'll give it just about 1 or 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Very active group today too. That's always great. It's very weird. I don't know if anybody's ever done these, but it's a very odd sensation if you're doing these and it feels like you're sitting there talking to yourself. So interaction makes it a lot easier on me and on us. So do you need SEO with GMB? I mean, there's some SEO that you're going to have to do to optimize the Google business. I think that's what you mean. Who is the guest? I'll introduce him in just a minute. Edward says, what's up, Chris? What's up? Don't do this well anymore. The questions are all out of order. There we go, I think. Do you need regular SEO campaign if you're doing GMB? I mean, there's a lot of things that you should do for both, but they are 2 separate algorithms. Scott says, crazy question. I have an appointment at 4:15 p.m. How long will this go? I probably won't take that long. I would imagine that we'd be done by then or close to it at least. All right, I think that's late enough. I am on with Nate. That is Nate Fisher. And I'm just going to throw it over to him and let him introduce himself and talk about what we're going to talk about, if you're ready.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much, Chris.
All right.
Maybe if you can toss me the screen share.
Yep, I'll make you the presenter. All right, and whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Just, I guess, let's confirm that everyone can see my screen before I start.
We can, yes.
Perfect. All right. So hello, everybody. Thanks for having me, Chris. Just a quick word on my background. My name is Nate Fisher. I've been involved in search and digital marketing for about the last 16 years. I've also been involved heavily in software development for about the last 10. Had some tools in the SEO space. About 5 or 6 years ago, we had a tool called Domain Reanimator, which was a fairly popular expired domain crawler. Done a couple of other things in the meantime. And what we are looking at today is a platform that I have created that has been out for a bit over a year, and it is called LocalViking, localviking.com. It is a pretty comprehensive GMB management tool. We do everything from GMB posting, visibility tracking, reporting, a bunch of other stuff that we're about to get into. So without further ado, let me go ahead and log into my demo account here. And we can just kind of take the tour. And I'm just going to walk us through the interface, what we have going on. I'll try to make this as quick as possible. If you would like to get a deeper dive, we do offer one-on-one demos with members of the team. But let's go ahead. And so I'm looking at the LocalViking dashboard. The first things I'll just quickly talk about, if you are a larger team or you need multiple members to have access to the platform, we do have unlimited sub-users per account. You can have them assigned to specific GMB locations through tags or specific locations, or you can have them as an administrator, which means they have access to all of the locations in your accounts. The first thing that you're going to do is come to the Google Accounts tab. And you are going to click this add account. That's going to have you OAuth your Google account, give access to LocalViking, and then you're going to land back on a page where you can actually get your Google listings and you can choose to turn them on or off. So we're going to go ahead and enable this one I have here in the middle. I've got another location enabled, and these in this main table are going to be your GMB listings. So we have customers or agencies as well as franchises and businesses with all the way up to about 5,000 listings. So we do have some monster accounts. The base plan comes with 10 listings that you can manage. And let's go ahead and let's hop into one of these listings.
Hey, before you go any further, we got one person saying there's no audio. Can everybody confirm that they can hear Nate okay? Okay, yeah, all right. Everybody else is saying we can hear fine. So that was, whoever was saying that, just maybe try to sign out and sign in. Okay. Anyway, didn't mean to interrupt your flow.
No problem, no problem. Worst case, catch the recording. And I hope that will export with the audio. But all right, so I'm looking at a location view. Now, this is the standard view that all of your locations are going to come in. So the first thing up here we have, and this is for one of my personal businesses, my engineering company, and you can see it's just a little bit of a test location here, but we have information coming back from the GMB API. This would be pretty important if you see any of these in red. The next thing we have is just standard information coming through the API as well for the listing. And then we have on every location an RSS feed. So this RSS feed is connected to your GMB posts. And this allows you to syndicate your posts to places like Web 2.0 properties. You can use IFTT to push them to your social media channels. And so every single location, as well as every single Google account in LocalViking, is going to come with this RSS feed built in. We also have the ability for you to tag your location. So we'll see in just a minute that location tags, you could say I had 20 or 100 or even 1,000 locations that were all related in some way. I could apply the same tag, and then I could use both the multi-location media upload functionality, which is just posting bulk images to multiple locations, or the multi-location posting functionality, which is going to allow you to post GMB posts at the same time or schedule them to multiple locations. So this is our tagging. The next thing moving down, we have our keyword section. So every single GMB that you have in the platform has two types of keyword tracking. The first type is what everybody's going to be familiar with if you've been doing SEO, and that is the traditional rank tracking, where we're just going to give you back one number. It's going to just pull one integer value from a location. The second type of rank tracking that we do that we'll see in just a minute is what we call our Geo Grid. And this can be enabled from the location level, which means that we can choose to have this run on a schedule. And this is going to make a lot more sense when I get up to this Geo Grid functionality here, and we'll actually take a deep dive of what that interface looks like, as well as what a Geo Grid actually looks like. So just remember, in a few minutes when we talk about the Geo Grid, you can actually schedule those from the location level. So let's say I wanted to run a Geo Grid maybe once a month on the first Monday for this Ruby on Rails company search term. I could do that. I'd click save and I'd put this on here and that would go ahead and run. So that's our keywords. The next thing moving down, we have our GMB Insights. So if you have used the Google My Business dashboard, you know that there are some restrictions on how you can look at the data. It can be a big headache, especially if you're an agency trying to prove to a client that you are doing a good job with your GMB optimization. So we have 18 months of historical data that we pull back, and similar to Google Analytics, you can actually come in here and you can select 2 different date ranges, and you can slice your GMB data across each date range and compare all of the different GMB Insight metrics. So you can see here for indirect queries, we've actually lost 88% over these 2 time periods. And you can do the same thing for all of the insights coming through the GMB dashboard. This is a super popular feature for agencies to include in their reporting, to kind of provide a little bit of visual proof to clients that what they're doing is actually working. Now, this is all exportable to CSV. You can just click this button, you're gonna get a CSV download, and then you can upload that to any other place you need that data. And then the last thing on the location level is gonna be our location content calendar. We will see that both images that we upload or schedule from the platform as well as GMB posts are gonna show up in this calendar. So this is our location view. Now, all the rest of the functionality we have for every one of your locations is gonna come across this secondary nav here. So let's just quickly dive through them. The next one is going to be this edit tab, and this is going to allow you to actually edit your GMB attributes from our interface through to your GMB live. Now, a little semi-well-known hint or trick is that when the GMB world is very volatile and there's a lot of suspensions happening when you're changing anything on your listing through the GMB dashboard, for some reason, making changes through not only our platform, but any platform that's using the GMB API actually allows for you to just safely make changes and not have suspensions. So this is something that our agency uses a bunch, especially when other locations are getting suspensions through the GMB dashboard. When you try to change the phone number or change anything, you can do it through the LocalViking platform and you have changes go right through. Now, all of these settings right here, these are going to be what are going to go live on your GMB. So you can change the name, the address, the categories, whether it's the main or the subcategories, whether or not you want to be a service area business or have an address, the business hours, all of these things here. Now that's cool, but what is really helpful is if you actually click into any of these and you see this lock mechanism, this is actually going to allow us to freeze this attribute in place. So if you have competitors that are changing attributes on your listing, if they're using maybe local guide accounts to suggest edits, like your business hours are for 5 minutes a day, or they're changing your business name, whatever it is, you can actually lock the attribute in place right here. And then when our system detects that an attribute has changed, we're gonna go ahead and programmatically just revert that. So that is one thing that is highly used. Now, everything else here, pretty standard. What we do have next is the ability to deal with your GMB profile photos. So we can come here to the single media tab, and this is for uploading a GMB photo. So if you're an agency, this can cut down on a lot of time. You spend maybe an hour or two at the beginning of a month, and you can select what category of a photo you want to upload. You can select the photo either from your local file system, which we do recommend, or you can come in here and you can use our connection with Unsplash. So these are all royalty-free images. You can select any of the image. You can crop it how you like, and you can, most importantly, click this EXIF tab. You can edit the EXIF or the metadata of the image directly in our platform. So you can click this recommended EXIF to see what we do internally or what we're going to recommend. And this also allows you to see what we call our location variable system. So let's say, for instance, that I was uploading a photo to maybe 10 different locations or 100 different locations. I could do that via the multi-location or the multimedia upload tab. And then if I were to use these tokens here and I was uploading it to these 10 locations, as each location was getting the image uploaded to it, it would actually get the location's unique data embedded into the EXIF or into the metadata. So that is one thing that helps, especially when you're doing GMB campaigns for multi-location companies or franchises. The next thing I want to show you is the fact that we do automatically embed your latitude and longitude coordinates from your location, so that you can then take this image, you can use it in press releases, you can embed it on the landing pages of that your GMB is pointing to. All of these things are going to kind of help throw local relevance for your listing. So that is all happening automatically from the platform. Now, the next two tabs we'll quickly look at is going to be the reviews and the Q&A. So this location doesn't have any reviews yet, but for all of your locations, your GMB reviews are going to pipe through right here, and you'll actually be able to respond to them directly from the dashboard. So if we go to the Q&A section, I did pop a test question in there for us to see. So you might know that if you're dealing with GMB listings, there's a little section when a customer or anyone on the internet sees your listing in the knowledge graph, they can ask a question directly to your business. What's a little bit less known is that the business itself can actually ask and answer questions, which shows up as an FAQ. So here in this case, I've actually asked and answered the question, but this is all done directly through the LocalViking interface. You can also upload a bulk CSV file with your own questions and answers. So that is how we wrapped both the reviews and the Q&A section. And then finally here we have the notifications tab. So this is going to allow you, as well as any sub-users that you've added that have access to this location, to come in here and let's say, for instance, I wanted to get an email and a text message if anybody tries to change my name, my category, and I also want to get that same email and text if I get a new review or a new question. This configuration here would do that. I could click save and then I'd be good to go. So that is our first functionality of the location. Now, let's quickly talk about GMB posting. So originally when LocalViking launched, we actually were just a GMB posting platform. We do a bunch of GMB management ourselves, and this was something that we wanted to have a nice tool for. So this is kind of where we evolved from. So you'll see that we do have a bit of a beefy GMB posting interface. So we have the three different post types here. Let's just scroll down to the interface. We have the standard, the event, and the offer post type. So these are the three standing GMB post types. Now for the specific attributes for these post types, you can actually see that we have them in the dark gray. We have the offer, the event, and the standard. So the standard can just have a call to action. The event might have a start date and end date, optionally a start time or an end time. And the offer is going to have the coupon code as well as the link to redeem and maybe the terms and conditions. So let's go over to the standard mode. And what I have here is the content that we can add in. So we could say, hey, this is my GMB post, and we're going to be counting the characters. Just a little note, you need to have less than 1,500 characters for any GMB post. So that's cool, but the other things that we do here is we automatically interlink by using this previous post search URL token. We're going to automatically interlink to any GMB posts, the previous post that was published before this post gets published. So this is going to use the raw link if you're not using the free GMB business site. Now, if you are, I set up a test one for this, but you can see that if you do have the free GMB business site, it's going to link directly to that post on the free business site. The difference here is that if you don't have a GMB business site, GMB posts are going to roll off naturally every 7 days from your listing. If you do have the site, those will stick around for more than 7 days. So here's our content. The next thing we have, and I'll just do a contrived example, is we do natively support spin tags. So let's say you were posting this to maybe 100 different locations and you were just wanted to get a little bit of variation in there. You can actually use spin tags. We're going to natively support that directly in the interface. And then you can go ahead and rest assured that you're not getting any duplicate content. Now, I don't really believe that that's much of an issue, but a lot of agencies do like to get a little bit of variation in their content, especially if they're working with a large amount of locations and they just like that peace of mind. So that's going to be our posting and how the content goes in. The next thing we'll look at is the image section. It's actually the exact same that we just saw from the GMB profile photo. So nothing different here. You can just have an image for this GMB post. And then we can also schedule this. So we could schedule the image that we looked at earlier, just didn't show it, but the exact same way that we can schedule a post. So let's say we wanted this to go out maybe on Friday. Let's do a less unlucky day. Maybe let's do Monday the 16th. And let's say it's just going to go out by default at noon. However, we can choose any time. So that's going to be in the locations time zone. Now, I can also make this a recurring post. So let's say, for instance, maybe I was working with a restaurant and they had happy hour every Tuesday and Thursday. I could come in here, I could create one post, and I could say maybe I want it to go once a week. So I'd put a 7 in here, and that would go every 7 days. Now, let's say I was only doing that happy hour for maybe 6 weeks. I could come in here and put a 6 in the expired count input, and that's only going to go for 6 weeks, and then it's going to completely stop. So that is our GMB posting. Now we have 2 other methods of posting. One is the multi-location post, which is going to be exactly the same that we just saw. The only difference is you can actually select either a location or a tag. So for instance, if I had these locations with the same tag, or if I had 100 locations with the same tag, I would only need to select the tag. And then this post is going to be queued up to go to each of these locations in their own time zone. So if I scheduled this for 1 p.m., when it was 1 p.m. on the scheduled date, that would actually go out for each of those if they were in separate time zones. So that is our multi-location posting. The last mechanism here is our CSV Bulk Upload. This is going to be the most free form. We have agencies that upload thousands of posts via CSV for their clients. They'll sketch out some time in the beginning of a month and they'll just upload CSVs and they'll have posts leaked out for months. We have one agency that did an entire year's worth of posts at one time. So all you're going to do here is click on this view example. It's going to download a CSV for you. You'll pop that into Google Sheets and then you'll just take out our information. We have some notes on what each column should have in it. You put in your information, you click upload here, you choose the file, click upload, and then you're actually going to be able to click into it and you'll see a line-by-line processing of whether we published a post, whether we successfully scheduled it, or whether there was an error and you might need to fix it. So that is our posting, that is our location functionality. Now, let me just quickly give us a tour of the Geo Grid here, and this is an extremely popular feature. So what the Geo Grid does, and I'm just going to grab a test that I ran before this here. So if you've been doing SEO, you know that traditional rank tracking is just going to give you one digit. It's just going to give you one of these points. Well, the local algorithm and local SEO in general is a lot more complex than that. A bunch of things come into play, whether it's the proximity of a searcher to your GMB listing, whether it's the history of the person that's been logged in. There's just a very complex environment around local SEO and local visibility, especially as it relates to the map pack. So what the Geo Grid does is it allows you to drop in a listing, and that can be any listing. It can be a service area business, it can be a listing that's a storefront, any GMB listing. You can give it to us, whether you're managing it or not. We have a lot of agencies that use this as a prospecting tool. So this customer here, this GMB listing. It's just some random listing I found off of Google. You can see that if a customer, a potential customer, was right around the center of their business here and was searching for a forensic accountant, they're actually ranking pretty well. They're ranking #1, and then you can see the other ranking competitors. Google's dropping back 11 listings for the search, but you can see how they're ranking right there. However, you can see as you get closer or further away from the center, then they start to lose some visibility. And this listing is actually pretty strong. They have decent visibility even fairly far away. But a lot of times a business owner will be sitting in their office and they'll look for their keyword. They'll see that they're doing pretty well, and they might not really understand that they do need to do some more work with GMB optimization. This allows you to give them an actual kind of heat map view where they can see exactly what holes they have in their visibility across their given city or their county. This is very flexible. You can go over, let's go to the new report. You can choose to drop any of these grid sizes in. And for instance, you can choose the distance between each of these points. Let's say that I'm going to do 1 mile between each of these. That means that this is going to be 13 by 13 miles. We'd put in the business listing name right here, or we can either put in the map URL or the place ID if it's a service area business. Then we can use this keyword search to just put in our search term. We have 2 different types of Geo Grids. The original one that we built out was actually on the Google Places API, which you can add in your own Places API keys. It gets a bit expensive pretty quickly, and we invested very heavily in creating our own infrastructure to run our own Geo Grids. So that is what you would see under this bubble here. And for every account, you do get a base number of Geo Grid credits. So for instance, for our $39 a month account, that comes with 8,100 Geo Grid credits, which equates to about $400 if you're using another service that does Geo Grids. So it's an extreme cost savings to be using the LocalViking Geo Grid. So here's our Geo Grid. Now the last thing that I'm going to look at, and it looks like we made some good time today, is our reporting functionality. So we have, and I'm going to click over here to the organization tab, and I'm going to click on the white label settings. So we have full white label reporting. I've actually attached one of my brands, trafficrunners.com. You can see I added the subdomain reporting.trafficrunners.com. You can easily add a configuration. Just one quick note, white label reporting is available to everybody. White label reporting, where you're using your branding and your logo and your domain, is only available for pro accounts and above. But you would come in here, you would give us the domain that you wanted to use. You would follow the instructions here, put in your logo, put in your brand, your color, choose the email you want to send from, and then let's hop over to the reporting tab. And creating a report on a schedule is as simple as going to the configurations tab, clicking create configuration. You can choose which of your listings you want to report on. So if you have a client or if you have a business with a bunch of locations, you can choose all of them individually, or you can just choose your tag, which is a lot more efficient for your clicking hand. And then you can go ahead and choose which insights you actually want to include on the report. So in this case, I'll leave them all checked. The next thing is for agencies particularly. So this first one here, which is going to be on by default, is the ability for us to just completely omit any insights that have a value of 0. So for instance, if we were doing a report right now and this listing had 0 chain queries and we just left this as is, the chain queries insight isn't going to make it onto the report. Now, similarly, if you leave this as is, that is going to omit any insights that have experienced a decrease. So if we had less chain queries or less indirect queries over this period versus the comparison period, that's going to automatically leave it out. So if you are interested in seeing all of the data, you'll just click both of those, keep them on, and that will allow you to see all of your insights. The last couple of things here are super simple. We have the reporting period. So let's say we wanted to do monthly reporting, and we either wanted to compare on the baseline, which is when the GMB listing was first added to the LocalViking platform. We wanted to look at the same period over the previous year or the previous period. We could do all of those. We are going to add another option to have both of these in the same report. But let's say we're going to do the previous period. We can do monthly reporting. So we're going to come through here, and let's say we wanted to send a report on maybe the last Friday of the month. We can just click that, and we're going to be comparing month over month. So if we were to generate this on the last Friday of December, it would be December versus November. And that's going to be automatically sent to any internal users that you put here, but more importantly, any of your clients or shareholders or third parties that you want to put in this to field, and as well as you can CC or you can blind carbon copy people. You can put in your custom subject for the email as well as the custom message, and then you can choose your white label reporting. So you're not limited to just one white label brand. If you have multiple different agencies, or if you want a customer to get a report in their own branding, you can add unlimited subdomains to the platform. So in this case, I would add my traffic runners. I'd click save, and we're going to start generating reports on that schedule. So if we quickly hop over, here's a test location. Let's just look at a public report. You can see that we are looking at reporting.trafficrunners.com. There is really no sign that this is LocalViking. It's completely white labeled to my company, and a client can get this. If there were positive things, those would actually be pulled out into special little cards above that. This is not a real listing, so there wasn't really much activity here. You can hover over all the insights and see what they actually mean. And then that is, I guess, that is the grand tour. So this is something that is used by a ton of agencies. We are very much in the trenches of doing GMB management and optimization ourselves. This was something that originally kind of was born out of needing to scratch our own itch, and has definitely evolved and matured into something that's much larger. We have some very exciting plans over the next year of functionality and features that we're adding. But yeah, Chris, that is kind of the grand tour of the LocalViking GMB platform. Maybe there was some questions that came in while I was doing that.
Yeah, but before we get to that, everybody let me know what you thought of that, and thank Nick for taking the time to show us that. Give me like a 2 in the chat, so we know that you're still there and that you enjoyed that. Lots of 2s coming in. Awesome. Before I even finished. Awesome. Great. So let me scroll up and see what kind of questions we have, and then
awesome.
I have some stuff I'm gonna talk about too. So let me see. So trying to get back to the beginning so I don't miss anybody. Will there be recording? Somebody says they effing love LocalViking, so that's good.
Very cool.
That's not exactly what he said, but you know, might be children listening. Will there be a replay? Most likely, as long as the technology cooperates. TJ asks, is there a limit to how many times you can revert changes back before GMB issues a manual review? I think he's talking about the locking feature.
Yeah, so there is not. It depends on what is happening with your listing. So there's cases, we have one client that has like a bot that just messes with their location all day, and we successfully were fighting that bot for months without ever hitting an issue. There are the GMB platform in general, not only the API, but more generally the entire platform is a finicky monster. And there are cases where changes just won't go through, whether it's from your side of the dashboard in the GMB manager, whether it's from anybody using the API. Those aren't always related to that situation, but we have a number of clients that are kind of in in very volatile industries where we've been reverting changes for them for 6, 7 months without a single issue.
Great. Marcus says he's a little late. What's the tool? It's called LocalViking. We'll be talking about it more for the next few minutes. Gary asks, changing GMB name or category, etc., usually suspends the GMB. How does using Viking avoid such suspensions if make those changes?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I wish I had a more technical answer. The fact of the matter is, and this isn't only specific to LocalViking, so I don't want to pretend like we found some magic key, but every time you make a change, you have some sort of trust score internally in Google's infrastructure. And so making changes from the GMB dashboard for whatever reason just triggers suspensions more often. When you come in through an application that's using the GMB API, maybe it's because we went through an approval process and we vet our customers. Maybe it's because, who knows, honestly, but all we know is that making changes through the API is significantly safer than making them through GMB dashboards. For instance, I had a client that had a bunch of locations that wanted to change their phone numbers to local tracking numbers. And the first 2 or 3 I did through the dashboard when I was making a training video, and I was like, oh, 2 locations suspended. That's going to be a horrible headache to get those reinstated. And then I was like, oh yeah, let's go through the LocalViking dashboard, and we got 30 in a row that went through the exact same change, just doing the phone number, not a single one suspended. So that is kind of something, the more I say it, the more I'm like, oh, I hope that that's going to remain true, because I feel like eventually maybe Google will turn their attention to that, although they shouldn't, because it's ridiculous that they're suspending legitimate listings and all sorts of businesses for just making changes through the GMB dashboard. But that is kind of the long version there of that answer.
All right. Justin asks, is it possible to download those EXIF optimized photos?
Yes, it is right now. So if you go really quick, let's go to the feature roadmap. So right now you can download them. You get the EXIF. If you scroll to our feature roadmap here, you can see all the way in Q4 under this bulk image library, we actually have the next really big thing that we're doing here is it's like going to be a huge undertaking to allow for a lot of bulk image management. So right now, if you want to do one image to 100 different listings, we do that really easily. What we're going to have next coming is if you wanted to do 1,000 images to 100 different locations or whatever it is, we're going to really beef up our bulk image management. And so that is the next thing coming hot on the heels of a very large Geo Grid update that's about to release.
Okay. Justin asks, can you schedule photo uploads? I work almost exclusively with cannabis businesses and cannot use posts.
Yes, indeed you can. So I'll just really quickly hop over here, and you can see right here, schedule media. Yep. And you can choose any time, any day to schedule it. And we do have tons of agencies that'll sit at the beginning of the month. They'll schedule out whatever their load is for a client's location or for their own locations. Maybe it's one image once a week. You can do that in 20 minutes, 15 minutes, even less if you have the images already prepared.
Okay. Joe says, love the Geo Grid. Mark says, this looks awesome. Could replace 2 or 3 tools I already use. Awesome. Carlos says, awesome. Marcus says, I'm sold. Joe says, great presentation. Craig says, impressive. Lots and lots of 2s. Great stuff. How much? Can't see the chat. No, the chat is just on our end. David says, killer software. Is there a service you offer to actually do it for us? Have any plans for software that can increase click-through rate, meaning being able to search from a specific, that's not really what this is for. Len says, Chris, do you use this? I absolutely do. Kieran says, great software. Is there a connector? Okay, we got a bunch of questions. I want to show you guys some stuff before people start dropping off, and then we'll get back to some questions if that's okay with everybody. So I'm going to take back presenter, and we're still going to get to all your questions, but I want to make sure everybody sees what we have. That's not what I wanted. To make presenter, show my screen. Does everybody like how I narrate every little step that I do? I don't know why I do that. Anyhow, I'm going to show you guys, I'm sure you're itching to get the link to check this out for yourself right now. First of all, check out my sexy new branding that's going to be coming out soon. And if you're going to jump on this today, I'm going to throw in some stuff to make it a little even easier for you. We're going to throw in Superstar Maps Mastery, which is my Google Maps training. It's kind of a beginner to get you started, and then some basic stuff to help you. So, you know, if you have clients and you need to help get them ranked on Google Maps, this will be the steps that you need to do that. You can check out anytime, by the way, at superstarseo.live if you want to pick this up today. And this is kind of what it'll do for you. Set up your site for maps, optimize your listing, get the right links, additional wraps, training, and advanced maps ranking techniques. So anybody who wants to grab LocalViking with these bonuses can jump on at superstarseo.live. The next one thing we're going to do is show you how is my course Superstar SEO Consulting Mastery. Now what this does is it's going to show you everything you need to have no business at all, through all the steps all the way up through setting up your business, getting clients, and scaling it up to 20,000 a month or more per month. Basically, like I said, you set up your digital agency, get clients with free methods, paid methods, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn ads, additional services, and how you can outsource them so you're just collecting checks, and then how to scale up to 20,000 per month and beyond. That course was originally $997. Maps Mastery was I believe $97 when it first came out. You also get Superstar Local Video Mastery, which was a $294 course. And basically, this is going to show you how to get videos made cheaply, do the keyword research for them, optimize them, and rank them quickly in Google, and use those videos to sell leads, rent space, or get clients. So it's a great course, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to get clients yourself. So if you want to pick up any of those, you're going to jump over to superstarseo.live, and I'll leave that on the screen for just a minute while I do some other, while we take some other questions. In fact, let me just bring up the screen that it'll take you to. So let's, all right, let me pause the screen for just a second. And we'll bring up what you're going to see. All right, so you're going to go to superstarseo.live. Oh, you're going to learn to type correctly. And it's going to take you to a page that looks like this, and you just come up to pricing, and you pick some of these incredibly reasonably priced packages that I think I was actually blown away when Nate told me what his prices were. And just figure out whichever one works best for you, whether it's 10, 20, 40, 70 locations. I think you can even go higher than that, right? If somebody needs to, they just need to
Yeah,
talk to
definitely. We do a lot of agencies and larger businesses that have hundreds and a number that have thousands as well. So you can just reach out to us. We are live with customer support 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, and then that chat that you see right there in the bottom right, that's actually going to go to myself. And I do answer that outside of those business hours as well. But yeah, we are definitely available for much larger accounts than the 70 that are listed there. We need to get a feel for the kind of keyword usage and the Geo Grid usage once we get into those larger numbers.
All right, and that's the URL, because I didn't think to put that on a slide with the prices. So apologies for that. And we'll get back to some questions. Let's see. Mark asks, is there a connector to Google Data Studio?
So we have that request probably maybe 15 or 20 times. It is something that I've already done some research on, and it is definitely something that will be coming. Right now, the next thing is that we're getting our GeoGrids and our keywords into our reporting. And then once we have those kind of merged beautifully, extra things on the reporting, such as a Data Studio connector, is what is on the roadmap.
Okay. Let's see. Are the grid searches unlimited?
So the grid searches are not unlimited. If you see there on the pricing page that Chris has up, the $39 a month plan comes with 8,100 GeoGrid credits. So let's say you were running a 13 by 13 grid, that's going to be 169 grid points. you have a number of those per month just baked into your plan. And those also roll over. So if for whatever reason you have a subscription for a month and you don't use any of your Geo Grid credits, then the next month you're not going to lose those. You're going to have twice the amount available for you. And then we also have specific Geo Grid packages where if you want to buy a credit pack to run a bunch of Geo Grids, you can do that. And we do have some agencies that have like millions of Geo Grid credits a month.
Oops. All right. Let's see. LocalViking is awesome. This looks quality, with quality in all caps. Can we have access to a replay as long as the recording came out properly? Yes. Matthew says, sounds like a great tool. Jason says he'd like to show this to his boss as soon as possible. Andy says, can you add locations for locations that are not brick and mortar businesses?
Yes, you can. We work with a lot of service area businesses ourselves, so all of the functionality works, whether it's a brick and mortar or a service area business.
All right. Mike says, I'm new to GeoGrids. Can you explain their importance and how they help? Thanks.
So the GeoGrid, again, it's traditional local SEO rank tracking. You're going to put in a keyword, you're going to get one number back. Maybe that number was pulled from a data source that's looking really close to the center, or it's very close to the center of your listing or to your listing. Maybe that data source, depending on the rank tracker, was pulling from not close to the center, but you're only going to get that one integer back. What the GeoGrid does is it does a search for all of the latitude, longitude coordinates of the grid that's surrounding your listing, or you can actually pull the grid away from your listing. But it's giving you like a heat map view where what if a customer was searching for forensic accountant and they were 10 miles to the left and north of your listing, where are they going to show up, or where is your listing going to show up for them? What if they're 5 miles to the east? Where is your listing going to show up? And so that's what the GeoGrid does. It really allows you to see your visibility from more than just one point, and that can help you do things like tell a client that they need GMB management services, or it can have you say, hey, maybe I should build some more citations to this listing. It's just kind of a tool to allow you to get a different view on the visibility of your listings.
Awesome. Let's see. Kevin says, LocalViking package price levels. Where do I learn about this and where do I sign up? You can sign up at superstarseo.live, and that's not only going to get you the pricing that you see on your screen there, it's also going to get you all of the bonuses that I talked about. So I think for that price, it's without any bonuses is a great deal. And you throw in everything you need to run a Google Maps agency. It's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, I hate to keep sounding like a broken record, but facts are facts, So sorry about the flashing screen there. Let's see, next question. Does the lock work all the time?
That is a great question. There are small cases. So we work with the GMB API where we get data refreshed multiple times a day. We just recently upgraded to something called the pub sub system where we get updates immediately. So there have been cases where Google doesn't update the API because Google has had some issues with the GMB API over the last couple of years. So that frustrated us enough that in about 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to have a secondary layer of functionality on top where we can actually go into your GMB account and automatically click the deny change button without you having to do anything. And that is something that's coming with a very large update where we're going to be expanding functionality for managed services and for some extra things that aren't necessarily through the GMB API.
And we just get this off the screen and this off the screen. So yeah, so if you want to check that out and forgive my super professional presentation there. You can check that out for those prize packages, including all bonuses at superstarseo.live. And let me get back to some more questions because there were quite a bunch. Quite a bunch? I don't think that's proper English. Let's see. Tools for increasing customer reviews in GMP. I'm not sure what that means. It's a little off topic, but we'll go with that. Do you have any stats or rough idea on when you increase GMB activity have on increasing local rankings without other SEO activities? I guess what he's asking is, do you know that consistently uploading posts and pictures, do you know that that increases ranking?
So it's part of, and this is a question that we get a lot, especially when I'm doing demos. The local algorithm looks at a bunch of things, and let me just give a shotgun answer. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your GMB listing is optimized. So you have the proper categories set, you have your description that's nice and beefy, you have a local phone number, and very importantly, your listing, or you're pointing to a URL that is optimized. So when somebody clicks on the website to visit your website from your GMB, that landing page that they hit needs to be optimized. So if you just have one listing, then it can be your home page. If you have a brand with a dozen or a couple of different listings, then each of those should have their own individual location page where you can optimize for the city or the geo that listing's in. So that's kind of the foundation. The next thing you need to do is have positive reviews flowing. So you should have some sort of review management tool, gathering feedback from customers, making sure it's not in the store because Google won't allow those to come through. But that's part two, is your reviews. Then you get into things like your GMB posts, like your Q&As, like your merchant uploaded photos, and that all is kind of in the general interactivity part of the algorithm, where Google wants to see that you're a real business, that you're really doing things that a real business does. Another important thing would be getting your customers to upload photos to your listing. And those things all together are going to be kind of the holistic plan for what a good GMB optimization and ranking strategy consists of. We do a lot of testing in terms of like what sort of post frequency can we see that correlates with positive rankings. It doesn't seem like posting like multiple times a day or even daily is worth its weight in gold. However, posting a couple times a week definitely does play a role, but it also needs to have those other pieces of the puzzle that I just mentioned.
Great. Kevin says, is Google going to start charging for GMB? And if yes, how much will it be per month? I've heard that rumor before. I don't think there's anything to it, but there are certain industries where you can put ads in GMB. So that, I guess, technically that's true, but it's never going to be entirely pay to play, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I agree there. The one thing that they might do, and we saw the questionnaire come out a few months ago, where they might add on auxiliary services that you can pay for. So something like CallJoy, which is a Google Capital backed call tracking software that uses like AI to answer the phone and can have people order from you. They might experiment with adding things like that, where you can pay them extra. So you can have a listing for free, but if you want some of this extra functionality, kind of like advertising, you can have an a la carte edition per functionality, per listing that they might play around with.
Awesome. Kurt asks, you showed a Q&A feature. I don't even know where that is in GMB. Can you elaborate on how to access and use that feature? Thanks.
Yeah, so if you go to Google and you pull up a knowledge graph for a listing, and the Q&A section isn't on every single listing. There's some industries where it shows up on less, but you can see just right in Google on the right side when you pop a knowledge graph that there's a little section that says ask a question, ask this business a question. So that is the Q&A section, and it's part of a very healthy GMB optimization strategies that you're answering questions that customers ask in a keyword rich fashion. So not keyword stuffing, but if you're running like a a forensic accountant firm and somebody asks you about a certain type of forensic accounting, it would be a good idea to respond to that question quickly and to include those kind of related keywords in that response.
Great. Lucas asks, what is your #1 recommendation for increasing a local pack / Google Maps ranking for a business when it is ranking lower on the edge of the grid?
So there are a couple of different tactics. One thing that we've been experimenting with is uploading photos with metadata or the EXIF injection of the latitude, longitude coordinates from the other parts of the grid that you're not ranking in well. That's one strategy. Another strategy is going to be creating content, whether it's on your GMB like a post, or whether it's on your website like a blog post or something that's linked, either linking to your page that your GMB is listing to, that is about that zip code or that section of the part that you're not ranking well in. So what you need to do is try to throw signals to Google that your business is relevant for that exact geo. If you are, for instance, working with somebody that sends people out in the field, like maybe a landscaper, it's a good idea to have the guys that are going out in the field, or the girls, to take pictures of their jobs as they finish and then to upload those, and then those will have the relevance of the geo that the photo was taken in. And that'll be naturally if you take it with a phone. If you would like to inject in those hints into other photos, you can certainly do that. But that's kind of the 2 or 3 different ways. Is you might have a GMB post that goes out that references the zip code or some businesses that are from there. You could do something like provide driving directions from that location on your GMB listing page or on your page that you're linking to from your listing. So there are a bunch of different ways to kind of throw the relevance to Google that, hey, this business does do business in this area. But yeah, it's something that we actively are experimenting with and working on for our own campaigns, because it's fairly easy to see that we're doing GMB management every single day, and we're running campaigns, and we are extremely invested in the efficacy of the software and making sure that it's making our campaigns run more efficiently.
Great. Just for the record, guys, even if you decide not to jump on this today, and I don't know why you wouldn't, but even if you do, I think that one tip was worth the hour by itself. So thank you for that. I'd never thought of the photo thing myself, so I'm going to try that today.
Awesome.
Let's see. You kind of just answered this, but David asks, will you ever allow geotagging in your tool?
Yeah, so we do allow geotagging in the tool. It geotags natively just by clicking on the EXIF. If you watch the video again, you'll see that there, for either GMB posts as well as GMB profile photos, you can upload, or you can choose to tag the EXIF data in there. One note is that when you're downloading a photo from Google, they're going to strip the EXIF data out. So just like when you upload a picture to Facebook and Google, they process image data on the way in, and then they anonymize it on the way out because it's a privacy concern, a couple of other reasons. But so when we store the image, we have both the Google option, which is going to have no EXIF data, but then we also have the EXIF data packed image, so that you can take that and you can go use it in your SEO campaigns. You can embed it in your press releases. There's a couple of things that we see that are very effective with a local strategy and using EXIF embedded images.
Great. Logan says, I love how it's all inclusive. Honestly, that's why I decided to do this presentation with Nate today, because when he first approached me, I thought it was just, I hope you don't take this the wrong way, I thought it was just a rank tracker. I was like, yeah, that's cool, but you know, it's not really very exciting to like present to people. But when you showed me all the features it did, I was sold like halfway through, to be honest. So that was one of the reasons I decided to do this today. My point there is I love how it's all inclusive too. Logan says, great job. Lori says, it looks great. Andy says, shut up and take my money. Well, please navigate over to superstarseo.live and we'll be happy to take your money. Mark says, do you have a verify option of a GMB address? I'm not sure what you mean by that.
So no, we don't do anything with verification, namely because we're trying to stay above board as possible, like very white hat. And because we are an official partner of Google, we've been verified for access to the API. And at the level we're at, so we have over 100,000 listings in the system, and it's just very hard to police that individuals aren't popping up lead gen listings. And that's not something that we want to have because we do have a ton of brands, a ton of franchises, a ton of very white hat large digital agencies, and we don't want to risk um,
Yeah.
anything like that.
The juice isn't worth the squeeze.
Exactly.
So, Eric says, I've seen this recommended on some Facebook web dev groups multiple times. Very happy to see this demo. I'm sold. Awesome. Glad to have you on board, Eric. Marcus says, great tool that's well priced. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Ahmed says, pyramids from Egypt. Yeah, actually, it's funny that logo was made by someone from Egypt. So I never even thought of that. Dan says, is all this stuff already in the mastery program I'm in already? Are you talking about the bonuses? Yeah, you probably have all that if you're already in Academy or whatever. Carlos says, do you take payments for Superstar SEO.live? That's just a link to help you purchase LocalViking. Superstar SEO.live. Craig asks the cost after 70 clients.
So it depends on what Geo Grid usage you're looking at and what keyword tracking usage you're looking at. And you can just shoot us a message if you want to get to me directly, Nate@localviking.com, and we can hop on a quick phone call and I can just kind of feel out what sort of usage you're looking for, and then we'll give you a custom price.
Perfect. TJ says, can our team have access to the Superstar SEO training? Yeah, you can just give them your email and password, or if you just want to hit up my support desk, we'll work something out for you so you can do it too. There's no problem with that at all. Craig says, each of my clients typically has one location, but I have 85 clients. Yeah, I think that was the same person that just asked. So yeah, just get in touch with Nate and he'll work all that out for you. A different Craig says, GMB State of the Union, love it. Me too. Like I said, I legitimately learned something today. So Sergio asks, can we start low and upgrade later?
Yes, definitely. And anybody that signs up, like we've raised prices historically, and we will raise prices again, especially probably Q1 next year after we add some of these big things that we're adding. You'll always be grandfathered in at these prices and at these limit levels. So everybody that gets in now will be at extremely good pricing when you look next year at this time.
I was shocked. I'm not just saying this because I'm trying to make money right now. I was legitimately shocked at how reasonable these prices were, which you probably don't like to hear, but
I had a potential partnership call last week with somebody from the hospitality industry, and the first thing they said was that they wanted me to hide the pricing page.
Makes perfect sense.
Oh.
Mark says, cool, thank you, I'm sold. Awesome. Mark's a heavy hitter, so you'll be glad to have him on board.
Awesome.
Lori asks, which plans have white label reports?
So the Pro and Up has full white labeling, and that is not just one brand. If you had 10 or even 100 brands, you can add as many as you'd like under the Pro and Agency and Enterprise.
Excellent. Kieran says he's a happy LocalViking client. That's always good to know.
Awesome.
Greg says, Chris, if we buy through your link, how to get access to your bonuses? Once they're done, once we're done with this, I'll get Nate to send me the list of who signed up, and I'll take care of you. Or you can just hit up my support desk at legit.support or help@legit.com, and we'll take care of you there as well. So just whatever way you want to go about it.
Yeah, and I'll let our support know as well. So if you just message our live chat, I will make sure that the team knows what information to pass your way to get in touch with Chris.
Cool. Let's see. Kieran says, got rid of a bunch of software because of this. Awesome. Awesome. Jason says, what will it do for reviews?
So right now, you can get notified when you get a new review, and you can respond directly in the dashboard. We're not going to do review generation just because if you're familiar with the review generation space, which consists of like Bird Eye, Grade.us, Reputation Loop. There's some real monsters in the space that are like tens of millions of dollars a year in revenue, and all they do is review management. So
Yeah.
there is actually a possibility, very real possibility, of us having kind of a sister software in the next year that really does review management at a ridiculously good price for agencies. But as far as LocalViking is concerned, we're going to stay and try to be the best GMB management platform first, and then we would like to expand to be more of a general listing management.
That very much can relate and admire that stance because, I'm trying to take on a giant myself and it's a lot. So can you please?
Uphill battle.
Angelo says, very good, impressive staff. Oh, I'm sure you like to hear that. Can I list the bonuses again? Certainly. You will get Superstar Maps Mastery, which is a Google Maps course. Now, I'm not going to be, first of all, let me reveal a little secret I haven't told anybody, including the people that are going to be making the training. We're going to completely revamp this course next year and relaunch it as kind of a 2.0. But for now, it's going to give you everything you need to get started with ranking your Google Maps, including setting up your site for maps, optimizing your Google business, the links, and some additional and advanced maps ranking techniques. And like I said, that will be relaunched in 2020 at no additional cost to people that already have it. You'll get Superstar SEO Consulting Mastery. God, I hate that logo. And what that does is show you how to go from not having a business at all to setting up your digital marketing / SEO agency quickly, how to get clients without spending any money, how to get clients once you have a little bit of money to invest, how to do Facebook, AdWords, and LinkedIn ads, some additional services you can offer and how to outsource them. So you're just collecting checks, which is everybody's dream. And then you can learn how to scale your agency to 20K per month and beyond. And then I'll throw in Superstar Local Video Mastery. Now, this is the first course I ever put out, but it's still one of my favorites because what it's going to show you is how to basically rank videos in Google for local terms. So Myrtle Beach plumber or whatever, and it'll show you how to get them made cheaply, some keyword research for video, how to optimize them and rank them, and how to sell them or rent them or use them to get clients. So all of those are yours for life if you sign up today through superstarseo.live for LocalViking at any level. So let's see. Craig asks, will you do onboarding with his team on an enterprise plan?
Yeah, definitely, Craig. If you you can go to the top of the site, or you can reach out to me directly, Nate@localviking.com, or send an email to team@localviking, and I can get you scheduled on a live demo walkthrough.
Awesome. Lucas says, I signed up directly with LocalViking, would have loved those bonuses, would be really helpful. Great tool to help streamline GMB and see overall local rankings. I can't promise anything, but message me after and we'll see what we can do. Let's see. Dan says we can start with basic, then upgrade to agency later.
Yep.
Keith asks, are there training videos on the site to teach us all the functions of LocalViking? That's a good question.
Yeah, so we have extensive help docs, we have a YouTube channel, and then I do a monthly webinar where I talk about any new functionality that comes through. We have, again, US customer support that's available 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, and actually I just remembered some extra hours, 7 p.m. I believe to midnight Eastern as well, that you'll get live supports, and that is out of Eastern time zone.
Okay. Sergio asks, and we get the bonus if I get the starter package. Just getting started now, and I'm interested in the training bonuses. I assume I can upgrade to pro once I get a few clients. The answer to both of those is yes. Can you explain what the rank credits mean? Sorry if you already mentioned that.
Yeah, so we have two different types of rank tracking as well as two different types of rank credit. So the rank credits are going to refer to the more traditional tracking where we can actually look at the Google SERPs for Google Local, which is the map pack, Google Organic Desktop, and Google Organic Mobile. Now that's going to be based off of whatever frequency you want to run. So let's say you were running one keyword for a listing and you were doing all three search types and you only wanted to check that data once a month. that's going to use 3 credits once a month. If you wanted to do it every 48 hours, that's going to use 3 credits every 48 hours. And you can just do that kind of simple multiplication formula to figure out the rank credits. Now, the Geo Grid credits are going to be based off of the point of the grid. So if you ran a 13 by 13 Geo Grid, that would be 169 credits. If you scheduled that once every week for one keyword, that's going to be 4 times 169. That I'm not able to just do off the top of my head, but you can math that out as well, and then you can always buy extra credits for either of those types of credits.
Okay. TJ asks, any plans to offer automated review responses?
Yes, definitely. If you check our feature roadmap, that is on Q1 of next year. I've been traveling for way too long now, and I finally just am starting to build an office and get a nice big monitor and one of the new MacBooks. And I'm going to work on I'm going to work on call tracking. So integrating a call tracker directly into LocalViking so that you can actually see the true call volume coming through your listings. Because right now, the GMB Insights of calls is only click to call from mobile. So that leaves out a bunch of calls that happen on desktop. But if you have a call tracking number as the primary number and your primary number as the secondary number, you can actually track all of the calls coming through your listing. So that's going to be what I'm going to be working on. And then review auto responses is going to be coming on the heels of our bulk image gallery or our bulk image manipulation update. So yes, definitely a review autoresponder is coming.
Great, great, great. Let's see. Lucas says, thanks to Nate for the awesome answer. Kevin says, when it comes to review management, can you flag reviews in this software?
So there is no way to flag reviews through the API, unfortunately. Just another little piece of background. The GMB API lags behind the GMB interface by anywhere from like 18 months to 2+ years. So like if you saw the product situation come for GMB maybe 9 months ago, whenever it popped up, there's no product API available to us yet. So I'm hoping that as time goes forward, the GMB API team is more onshore out of Mountain View instead of out of other parts of the world, where it seems like the GMB platform in general hasn't gotten the love that, let's say, maybe the AdWords platform gets. But so no, right now we do as much as we can that we have access to. But there's some things like that, or like the keyword queries that come in the GMB dashboard that we just don't get because they don't expose them through the API.
Okay. Let's see. Where was I? How important are offers, products, and services to your listing?
It's a good question. So I guess one, it depends on what type of listing you have, and then it kind of has to make sense for your business, or you have to try to wrangle it in a way for those to make sense. The product category is a little bit outside my purview because we don't really work with a lot of companies that are using that kind of future e-commerce GMB functionality. The event and the offer post types, so there's no more product post type. First of all, they removed that about 9 months ago. The event and the offer post type are very good posting options. They shouldn't be the only thing you're posting. We usually, when we're doing our own management or our own campaigns, we try to have some diversification. So for scheduling out posts for a quarter, we'll have some of those posts that maybe it's like meet the firm or meet the company, and we'll do like some profiles of the employees, and then we'll make sure that we're doing image uploads, and we might snap screenshots of 4- and 5-star reviews, and we might turn those into GMB posts where we say, hey, look what this customer said. Boom, we have that as a GMB post. So now we're doubling up on a good review, where not only is it counting in the algorithm as a positive review, but it's giving us a little bit of extra bang for our buck as we have it as a GMB post. Then the event and the offer post types we do use as well. And it's just kind of like you're going to want to have diversification across your GMB strategy.
Okay. Let's see. Link to buy doesn't work for me. I've seen some sales coming through, so we'll check and make sure. Yeah, it's working fine. I just clicked on it from the chat, so let's just paste it in to make sure. But I mean, I think it's working fine. Yeah, it's working fine. Just try to. Who was that? Just try it again, Aaron. It might have been a glitch or something.
Yeah, Aaron, and if it's an issue, you can if you just go to us and let our customer support know, we'll be able to manually make sure that you get credit with Chris and that you can grab the bonuses.
Brian says, sorry, I'm late. Daylight saving for our area got mixed up. Yeah, sorry about that, but I'm pretty sure we'll have a replay as long as, GoToWebinar cooperates. And if not, we'll figure something out. Let's see. Lucas says, thanks, Nate.
Yep.
Aaron says, I got a call. What photo thing? Not sure what you mean by that. Brian asks, will there be a replay? Yes, one way or the other, there will be. Tanya asks, is there an app for LocalViking? My guess is probably not. That seems like it'd be an awful lot to try to do for an app, but I'll let Nate answer that.
Yeah, so not yet, and it's not on our immediate roadmap. Perhaps one day for displaying information, but really our two goals at LocalViking is, number one is to cut down on your time as an agency doing your monthly tasks for optimization and management. And then number two is we really want to showcase your results to your clients, because I've been in agency work and I've been in the digital world for a very long time, and I know firsthand that you could be doing a really good job on a campaign, whether it's SEO, whether it's AdWords, whatever it is. But if you're not properly tracking and displaying what you're doing on a monthly basis, you're going to be turning over clients a lot faster than if you just have an automated system to show them exactly what they're getting for their money every month.
Yeah, the white labeling I think is probably huge for client retention too. I use another tool that is not as nice as this, and I'm going to switch them over to that as well. So.
Awesome.
Let's see. Andy asks, do you have any videos how to do some of this? And you said, yeah, you have some training videos.
Yeah, we do.
Documentation. Sergio says he just signed up. Awesome. Welcome aboard, Sergio. Craig says, I second that. Take my money too. Awesome. Awesome. We'll be happy to. Jeffrey asks, how are the bonuses delivered? If I sign up today, will I receive links to the bonus materials? Yeah, once I get the list of who signed up, I'll have somebody from my support message you, or if it's the same email, I'll just go ahead and grant you the bonuses right away. So Carlos says, I'm sold too. Thank you. Thank you, Carlos. Chris, I missed the part about the bonuses. Can you recap them? I certainly can, although Darren, you already have them all. Let's see, we get Superstar Maps Mastery, which is your beginner to intermediate Google Maps ranking course that I've had out for a little while, that we're going to be revamping at some point in 2020. The coaches don't know that yet, so if they're watching, they'll know. They know it now. But it's still going to give you everything you need to get your GMB and your site set up and the right kind of linking and some other techniques and methods. You're going to get Superstar SEO Consulting Mastery, which is basically how to go from not having a business at all to having a fully functioning 10 to 20K per month SEO or digital marketing agency business with all the stuff you see on the screen there. How to get clients, free, paid, how to do some Facebook ads, AdWords, and LinkedIn, and additional services you can outsource and things like that. This was a $9.97 course when it came out. So the stuff in it is still very, very helpful, especially the section on cold calling. I don't know anybody else in SEO that teaches that. And then Superstar Local Video Mastery, which is how you rank videos in Google for local search terms like, I don't want to use the same one as I did last time, Miami carpenter or something like that, and how to use those to get leads or rent them or get clients or whatever you want to do about it. So you get all of that if you just jump on at superstarseo.live. And Darren, you already have all of that. So if you message me, we'll see if we can't work something else out. So Dan asks, how are restaurants using this? That's his space.
So restaurants are using it for a couple of different ways. We have a group that is not a single restaurant, but it's a merchant services provider for restaurants, and they watch over a bunch of their clients, I guess you would say, and they just make sure that the reviews are coming in are positive and that everybody's doing a good job with optimizing their listing. And when they see locations that aren't optimized, they reach out to them and offer optimization services. So that's one way. Another way is uploading photos. So getting a consistent stream of the restaurant's photos going through, or the food items that are coming through. That is another way. Preventing spam edits. There's been a couple that have had competitors, which is really weird to me that people sit around and change the business hours of their competitors. But we've seen that a number of times with restaurants, especially in some larger cities. Yeah, so those are the three primary ways. I'm hoping that restaurants in particular get some more functionality added through the API, as well as hotels in the next couple of months, where there's some functionality that exists in the GMB dashboard, but not through the API for restaurants and hotels. But yeah, that's also visibility for broad keywords, not just looking at their brand, but looking at people searching for general types of restaurants in the area. And then that can kind of lead into a citation strategy, whether or not you need to build more citations. We have a fair amount of restaurants. We have just a ton of listings in the system, so we do get to see different strategies across a bunch of different listings and industries.
Okay. Mark says, sorry, just stepped in late. I'm in Australia. Have you tested it for this market area? Often things are not the same in other geographic areas.
Hey, Mark. Yeah, we have a number of Australian users, whether they're agencies or the small businesses or larger franchises themselves. Works in Australia. We have a ton of Australian users. We have some New Zealanders. The only thing I've seen in New Zealand one time for the keyword lip filler, which is for a beauty salon, that keyword had to run through the Geo Grid a few times, both through the Places API as well as through our infrastructure. And then all of a sudden Google woke up and started returning normal results. But that's the only, I would say, question mark that's ever happened with Australian or New Zealand users.
Awesome. Sergio says, great. Sergey says, now you know why I effing love LocalViking. And once again, he did not actually say effing. Marcus says, compared to White Spark and Bright Local, this is awesome. I'm sure you're glad to hear that. Paul says, sorry it was late, but I have already have a subscription. Very impressive software and satisfied client. I'm sure you always love to hear that too.
Awesome.
Kevin says, so the starter still provides reporting, just not white label.
Correct.
Okay. Logan says LocalViking support is really helpful. That's good to hear. That's I'm very selective on who I do these kinds of things with, and it's the amount of support that somebody gives is something that is important to me as well, because as you know, I value support very highly. So I'm glad to hear that, and I'm sure that Nate is as well.
Yeah, that's very important to us.
Dennis says, what are the bonuses? I missed that part. All right, let's run through that again. You will get Superstar Maps Mastery, which is a Google Maps ranking course that is going to give you everything you need right now to get going with Google Maps and ranking in Google Maps. It's what I do, and it's going to be revamped a little bit into 2020 as well. So it's going to be fresh and clean. You're going to get Superstar SEO Consulting Mastery, which is basically going to take you from not having a business at all to having everything you need to get clients with free methods, paid methods, how to add on more services, how to do some advertising, how to scale your agency. So between LocalViking, Maps Mastery, and Consulting Mastery, you can literally have a whole new business tomorrow if you really want to put in the time. You're going to have the tools to start the business, the tools to fulfill for the business, and the tools to manage the business. Between those three, they kind of stack perfectly together. And just to add on to that, you'll be able to get Superstar Local Video Mastery, which is going to show you how to rank basically videos in Google for local terms. So if you're offering to sell Google Maps ranking, you can kind of either use this to start a conversation or to add another piece of value to your campaigns or whatever you want to do. It's a great little technique. It still works well. So, and you can get all of that by going to superstarseo.live. I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but somebody says that is that the sign up page? Not exactly. So basically what you're going to do, let me bring my browser back up, is you're going to go to superstarseo.live, and it's going to take you to this page. Then you're going to come up to pricing, and then you're going to choose the enterprise plan because that's the one I'll get the most commission off of. And then you'll go through that. But no, you just pick whichever package you want, and then you just sign up through there. It's super simple. So one more time on that, you just go to superstarseo.live, and then you go up to pricing, and you just pick whichever package works best for you. So, and then I guess you can switch it to yearly as well. So let me bring up the presentation again. Let's see. So this the Viking support, what are the bonuses? Dan says he's in. Welcome aboard, Dan. Lucas says, thanks, Chris. Thank you, Lucas. What are the bonuses? I just covered that. Joseph says, I was going to hire someone to Google Risk Stack. Should I still do that and then use this to manage? Yeah, risk, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but risk stacking is a ranking technique, and this is a management suite. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Brian says, it's okay. I've purchased and we'll look at this training. That sounds great. Awesome, Brian. Welcome aboard. I don't know how you feel about comparing to other tools. Do you want to answer that one?
Sure.
Okay, it says comparison to Bright Local.
I'm not as familiar with Bright Local. I know Bright Local does more citation stuff where we don't do anything with citations really. And then they have a rank tracker, but it's more of the traditional rank tracker. It's not the Geo Grid.
Right.
But yeah, I know we have agencies that come from Bright Local to us. We have some agencies that use both Bright Local and us. We're much more just pure listing management focused and a lot more automation on like the uploading of images and the uploading of GMB posts, whether it's to one location to a bunch of locations at the same time. And then definitely as you see us moving forward over the next 12 months or so, there'll be a very different kind of vibe to what you would use our tool for and what you would use Bright Local for.
Yeah, I would already argue that they're apples and oranges. That the only thing I ever used Bright Local for was to build some citations and look at rankings the old-fashioned way, as opposed to what LocalViking does.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of Bright Local. It's just they're two different tools, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Scott says maybe I missed this as I couldn't get in until the end. That's because everybody was excited to be on. Will there be a replay? Yeah, as long as the recording went through, and if not, we'll work something else out. But I think it'll be fine. Edward asks, don't know if you talked about this already. What's the difference between LocalViking and, I don't know if you want me to name names, and another similar tool?
I guess it depends on the tool. You can go ahead and drop the name. It's okay.
It's LocalValken.
Oh, that's a great, actually, perfect question. So LocalValken only uses the Google Places API. Now, if you look right on the screen right here, you can see under the starter plan, you get 8,100 credits a month, part of the $39 that you also get the traditional rank tracking, the GMB management, the everything. So if you were to buy those 8,100 credits a month with LocalValken, you'd be paying $405 based off of their screen pricing. A major restriction on using the Google Places API is that they don't return any results that are service area businesses. So we work with a bunch of businesses that are service area businesses, and that quickly became a major issue where it kind of nullifies the results. If you have any competitors that are not having their address shown, they're not going to be pulled back from the Places API results at all. So the kind of cost prohibitive nature of scaling where we want to run a ridiculous amount of GeoGrids a month would be tens of thousands of dollars with LocalValken. We invested very heavily with building out some large infrastructure to do it ourselves, essentially. And so that is kind of the difference on just the Geo Grid. Now, LocalViking is only the Geo Grid. LocalViking is the Geo Grid plus the GMB posting plus the review plus the Q&A plus the GMB location management plus the reporting. Now I'm actually acquainted with the guys that bought LocalViking, and they're pretty awesome guys. But it was just something that we had an issue with LocalViking, and we decided to do it much better, and I really think we did.
I agree. Because I was frankly approached by pretty much everybody in this industry, and this is the one I decided to work with. Let's see. What if your GMB is managed in Yext? Will we need to disable it?
That's a good question. We've been bringing some very large accounts from Yext over to us. I know Yext does do some stuff where so Yext adds 3 owner accounts to your listing, and they do some stuff to change attributes sometimes. They have their own category situation going on where they'll automatically update your categories based on their internal data. That's a good question. I know we have some customers that have their listings migrating over from Yext to us, and they're still in their Yext contract period, so they have both platforms added. We're a passive integration where we're not going to be making like offensive changes to your listing. And the worst thing that could happen would be maybe if you made a category update through LocalViking, that Yext might change the category depending on what you have set over at Yext, but it should be all good.
Okay. Brooks asks, if I am in Maps Mastery already, who or where do I reach out to excuse me, for the additional bonuses? You can message help@legiit.com, Legiit.com, and my support team will take care of you. Just let them know what email you signed up with for LocalViking, and then we'll get you straightened out. And if for some reason you don't get a response within a few minutes, which if you don't, then somebody's going to get a lecture, but just message me on Facebook as well. I can help you there as well. Nauman says, canceling my white spark. Awesome. Kevin says he signed up for Pro. Thanks a lot, Kevin. I'm sure we're glad to have you on board. Lori says, signed up. Welcome aboard, Lori. Joseph says, thanks. Sorry for duplicate question. No problem at all. Kevin says, I have 2 different GMB accounts. How do I connect each account to my LocalViking account?
There's no limit so you basically go to the Google Accounts tab, and you're going to be able to add 2, 10, 100, whatever it is. Most agencies just have a few accounts, but if you had 2 different Gmails, you can just keep going to that Google Accounts tab, and you can add in your Gmails, and then we'll automatically sync everything for you.
Awesome. Edward says, and this is one I can relate to, but I'll let you take it. I have a location near the beach. Will the points on the Geo Grid be excluded on the map anywhere on the ocean?
You can click this little checkbox that says justify grid. And once you've clicked that, you can then drag the map and you can move the grid so that it's not over the ocean.
Okay. Justin says, how do your Geo Grid credits compare in price to the price Google charges if you use your own API?
Like thousands of % cheaper.
Yeah. Mark says, really glad you brought up the Falcon comp. That's got my interest. I don't want to replace it. No, it won't replace what I do with Bright Local and Grade.us.
Correct,
right?
It won't.
Okay.
Yeah, Grade.us, they're a very, very mature review feedback, review gathering platform. And then Bright Local does have a lot of the citation stuff that we're not building towards.
Dan says, so do we implement the Academy GMB methods and then use this to manage that? Little confused. Yeah, so what we have in Academy is just training on how to rank in Google Maps. Ranking is obviously the important part, but what LocalViking does is take that and make it so much easier to manage, because then you don't have to log into a bunch of different GMBs. You can show the rank tracking. You can upload your images, schedule your images, geotag your images. You can schedule your posts. What else am I forgetting?
You can upload your Q&As. You can set automated reports. Yeah, they really go hand in hand, where you would take Chris's information up front, you get a new listing, you apply the optimization techniques that he trains on, you look at his ranking strategies, and then instead of going every day or twice a week to log in and make GMB posts, you just have to go once a month or once a quarter, and then you don't have to log into a bunch of different GMB accounts, or you don't have to constantly go into the GMB dashboard. You can just sit back in LocalViking, you can see all your reviews come through, you can answer your Q&As. It's definitely something to kind of take a little bit of the weight off of your shoulders and automate things.
Right. It's selling you time as well as things that you will be simpler.
Correct.
Brian says, so does this work with Bing and Yahoo as well?
So not yet. I just got an introduction to one of the Bing product managers for their maps. And I'm hoping within the next month or so to get on an introductory phone call with them and try to get that link made. I reached out to Apple Maps and they don't really have an API. Yahoo Maps, I'm actually going to add to my list of things to do right now, and I will give them an email. But we're definitely at the size that as soon as Bing saw my email, they immediately got a product manager on and scheduled a call.
So the short answer is not yet, but soon.
Correct.
All right. Kevin asks, are there other bonuses for those already in the academy? Kevin, I think you own everything I've ever put out, but if you message me, we'll try to figure something out. Carlos says, Chris, I have a plumbing business, but I'm not showing up very much. Will this help me show up more? I got on in the middle of the webinar. So not directly, but what it will do is make the process of getting there much simpler for you, if that makes sense. This isn't necessarily a tool for ranking, but it's made to make ranking easier. Did I explain that well? Do you have a better way to phrase that?
Perfectly. No, I mean, that's it. This is kind of giving you the infrastructure to put the systems and processes in place that you'll learn from both Chris as well as we have some training ourselves.
Great. Wayne says, will there be a replay? Yes, one way or the other. Kieran says, I used the Google API and ran 3 locations in both SAB and using the API each night for 20 days. Until I got a Google API notification, I was up to $500 in charges. Google API is super expensive. LocalViking is so worth it. There you go. That's a great testimonial.
Yeah, thank you.
Mark says, are you able to add help with changing the T rank on 360 tour photos? A big part of my business is high-end virtual tour images, but they sometimes get outranked by crappy customer images, which really upsets some of my clients. I would guess you probably need to do some image optimization, but
yeah, it's a question we hear a lot. So unfortunately, we don't get to choose what photos Google wants to display on your listing. There's no identifier for 360 photos as far as the GMB API is concerned. We get a lot of support requests where people are like, hey, this horrible image is being pulled by Google as our main image, and why is this happening? And the unfortunate answer is that we just don't have an answer for that. You can do things like optimize your images a bit and hope. In extreme cases, you can reach out to GMB support and request that they shift your image a bit, but their usual response is that the algorithm is determining the photos and that they're not going to step in.
Yeah, you're lucky if you can get that far to get the answer, to be honest.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kevin says, awesome. You put out good stuff, Chris, and I value that. Well, I appreciate that, Kevin. It's always nice to hear feedback. And we are actually at the end of the questions. Still got a bunch of people on, so if you have any more, let us know. We'll stay here as long as you need us to. But if you want to jump on this now, and I really don't see why you wouldn't, you just head over to superstarseo.live. Maybe I should demonstrate that again. go to superstarseo.live, and that's going to take you to this page. And then you just come up to pricing and pick the package you want. And then as far as bonuses, I'll either send them to you later once I get the full email list, or you can hit up our support at help@legiit.com. And we'll take care of you on that too. So, and I guess I should probably run through the bonuses one more time, just in case somebody missed out. You'll get Superstar Maps Mastery, which is a Google Maps ranking course that's going to be relaunched in 2020. Superstar Consulting Mastery, which is basically going to show you how to set up your entire digital business. So now you'll have the training on how to get started, the training on how to fulfill, and the tool to manage it. And then you'll get Superstar Local Video Mastery, which is going to show you how to rank Google videos in Google for local search terms. So that was a $294 course. That was a $997 course. And this one, I believe, was $97 when it first came out. So just head over to superstarseo.live. And yeah, let's see if we got any more questions yet. Kevin says, demonstrate how to use it to get new clients.
So that would be for like the Geo Grid, doing a proposal where, let's say you are looking at a client, you're interested in getting them signed on board. You run the Geo Grid with their listing and their target keywords, and then you can show them that, hey, this is a heat map of you can basically explain to them the concept of the Geo Grid. Hey, what you're looking at is a heat map of your visibility. You can see that you have a bit of visibility directly over your business, but when people are searching for your services and they're a couple miles away, you're nowhere to be found. And that is kind of the lead in, where now a business owner gets a visualization of what's happening with their listing or with their visibility, essentially. And that can be the difference between a business owner that really doesn't know about local search or Google or computers, and kind of triggering that thing in their brain where they see, oh wow, now I see that this looks horribly. We also our Geo Grid, when you schedule it on the location level, let's say you're running a Geo Grid once a week, those are actually going to stack on top of each other in a little widget, and then you can click a button and you can export that to a GIF file, and you will have a little animated file that you can show them. And maybe after 2 months, once you've done good optimization work, you're going to have a bunch of red in the Geo Grid up front, and that's slowly going to turn yellow, and it's going to end up with a bunch of green. And that gives you a really nice visualization of doing actual optimization.
Awesome, great answer. Let's see. Dan says, so is this like Hootsuite for GMB?
Yes, definitely. On top of extra functionality, but in terms of the content scheduling, yeah, very similar.
Awesome. Framel says, my hotel doesn't like the .live domain. I dropped the unredirected link in the chat for you, so you can just jump on it there. It'll just take you to that. I just thought that was a little easier to say and to memorize. Carlos says, thanks, Chris. We'll buy, got to go. Practice peace, practice love, practice random acts of love and kindness. Some great advice. Nauman asks, works seamlessly with Google.ca GMB listings?
Yes, works seamlessly with not only that, we have Japanese customers, Spanish, Slovenia, Brazil, a lot of Portuguese speakers.
Gotcha. Kevin says, gotcha. Are you going to add a feature where you can sync your GMB to other citations? I'm thinking of DBA platform.
Got it. So like pushing stuff to data aggregators. Yeah, it's definitely something that is on our radar. If we do it, we want to do it right. Like we want to get a lot of coverage. So we have a few other things to do that are going to be coming over the next 60 to 90 days. And then we're really going to turn our attention towards what's the really cool thing we can do next year for that 12-month cycle.
Awesome. Joseph asks, so just sign up through your link and the bonuses flow based on your affiliate code? Yeah, so basically what will happen is I'll get a list later from Nate, and then I'll just send out bonuses or just activate them based on the email you signed up with. But if you want to make sure, you can always forward your receipt to help@legiit.com, and we'll make sure you get taken care of. But one way or the other, we'll make sure you get your bonuses. I'm not going to name drop, but I absolutely know why you're asking, because in the past when I would attend webinars and bonuses to get promised and they didn't get added, they used to piss me off. Something fierce. So I always make sure that everybody gets their bonuses. Let's see. Kevin says, cool, I look forward to it. Joseph says, I remember seeing promotion for LocalViking at launch. Wish I had signed up then. There were good offers. I think it's still a great offer personally. $39 a month. I mean, that's, less than a meal, at not a good restaurant. So I think it's still a great offer personally. And like I said, I was genuinely shocked when I saw the price after he did the demo. So, all right. I think we're probably going to wrap up pretty soon. We've been on for, wow, almost 2 hours. Yeah, my voice is raw. I've been talking all week. So Lucas says, thanks guys. Happy 12/12. Yeah, I was going to do a drawing. What I'll do is after the webinar is over, I will see who stuck around from beginning to end, and I'll email that person, and they're going to get a lifetime subscription to Superstar SEO Academy and to Audit. So thanks for hanging out for that. Time goes quickly when you're having fun, says Brian. Absolutely. Absolutely it does. I don't know. That's the end of the questions. Nate, do you want to show anything or say anything else? Or
awesome. No, I mean, I just want to thank you, Chris, for having me. Thank everyone for showing up, and definitely look forward to bringing anyone into the fold and kind of growing together, and not only having the platform, but also sharing our knowledge and our training as we continuously run our campaigns.
Yeah, I want to echo that. It's been a pleasure working with and getting to know you. And I really do appreciate you bringing this offer. I get approached to promote things all the time, and I'm very particular about it, but appreciate you having such a good tool that I can bring it to people that I think it will benefit from. So a few people saying thanks so much. Thank you for the demo. Merry Christmas from down under. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thanks so much. So I'll have this replay up as soon as I can. In the meantime, check out superstarseo.live and just check it out. I think it's a great tool. Just pick this up. I don't really know what else to say. David says, great webinar. Have a good holiday, fellas. Dan says, thanks. And I think that's good. So thanks a lot, Nate. I'll talk to you soon, and I'll talk to everybody else soon. And as usual, figure out what you want out of life and go out and get it, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. So thanks a lot, guys. We'll talk to you soon.